Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chad. Today we're talking about the new FHSA, or the First Time Homebuyer Savings Account, which was just officially released as a part of the Canadian government's budget 2022. So we're going to talk about contributions, withdrawals, transfers, the tax advantage, and then we're going to compare it to just a normal home buyer's plan withdrawal from your RRSP. So let's get into it. All right, first off, let's talk about the tax advantage of it. So the FHSA takes some of the best parts of an RRSP and the best parts of a TFSA and kind of merges them together. What I mean by that is that contributions in to an FHSA are a tax deduction similar to an RRSP, and withdrawals from it are tax-free, similar to a tax-free savings account. But we'll go over the details of that in a minute. Contributions, similar to a tax-free savings account, there are limits on how much you can actually put into the FHSA every year. And that limit is $8,000 per year or $40,000 lifetime contributions. Next, you should know how eligible it is for transfers. So it's being treated very, very similarly to an RRSP in a lot of ways. And because of that, you can actually transfer from an RRSP to an FHSA, or actually you can transfer back as well. And we're going to talk about a situation about that a little bit later, but you should know that if you do have RRSPs already and you think that the FHSA is a better fit, you can transfer subject to those same contribution rules discussed before. You can transfer money into the FHSA. Next, let's talk about withdrawals. Like I mentioned before, withdrawals are a tax-free event, but the important thing to note about that is that it's only tax-free if you are using it for the purpose of the account, which is buying your house. Withdrawals for anything else are taxable, just like an RRSP. So now let's take a look at a traditional home buyer's plan withdrawal out of an RRSP versus the tax-free withdrawal out of your FHSA, because you are only allowed to do one of those things. You cannot do both. The home buyer's plan, you can withdraw up to $35,000 of withdrawal. You do have to pay it back over a 15-year period. The FHSA is a tax-free event and you do not have to repay it. However, as I mentioned before, there are contribution limits. So if you already have RRSPs sitting there waiting as your house down payment and you're looking to buy a house in the next year, it probably doesn't make sense to open an FHSA because it won't have any time to grow, and the advantage is to take out the larger sum from the RRSP. However, if you're looking to buy a house further than 5 years out or even 4 years out, it might make more sense to start up that FHSA. Now, as I mentioned before, you can actually transfer money back and forth. So to add another layer of complexity, it may be fine just to transfer RSP to FHSA, and then next year you can transfer it back before you do the home buyer's plan withdrawal. Everybody's situation is different, so if you do want to talk about it, our email will be on the screen now. Like I said, it's going to add a new layer of complexity. It's a great account that has a lot of strengths, but doesn't totally answer all the different questions for first-time home buyers. And like I said, if you're within that kind of like 2 to 3 year range, it may not make sense, but you may want to open it just because and transfer the money back. It's definitely one that, while adding that layer of complexity, you're going to want to make sure that your ducks are in their row before you buy a home, because if you have to transfer money from the FHSA to an RRSP before you do the withdrawal and your down payment is due, that can get pretty scary. So just make sure you have your ducks in a row before you go ahead and do anything. Anyways, that's the video today. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing, give us a thumbs up, do all the normal YouTube things, and until next time, keep planning.